Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. I'm Scott. There's Dave. We have a special guest today. Donnie Harris Jr. is joining us. Donnie is the local ring announcer and commentator for Coastal Wrestling Federation, which Dave and I have been going to for about a year now. And we met Donnie and we love the show so much. And Donnie loves movies. So we thought, hey, I mean, who doesn't love movies and who doesn't love wrestling? A little wrestling, a little movie. And today we're going to talk about Jaws. But first, I wanted to just take a moment and thanks, Donnie, for coming on board with us.
It's great to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it.
I appreciate that, man.
So I just want to ask a few questions. Are you a lifelong wrestling fan? Or is this something that you came about after becoming an announcer?
No. So I am a lifelong fan. I had two older cousins who were big wrestling fans, and it kind of trickled down to me. I became a wrestling fan when I was about 10 years old, back in the summer of 2000. Summer 2000 was when I became a wrestling fan, and I watched, kept up with the various products as I grew up. And the long story short, yes, I've been a lifelong wrestling fan. Yeah, I started with WWE. I caught ECW towards its tail end, and I was a big fan of ECW and how they produced professional wrestling and how they edited the show and how they told the stories. Watched WCW as well.
Right.
A lot of people don't remember him, but heck, one of my favorite authority figures growing up was Ernest the Cat Miller, who was the commissioner in WCW at the time, and I loved the way he ran things.
Right.
Mick Foley was the authority figure in WWE at the time, and I loved how he ran the company, and his office would always be in these weird places. Like he was in a forklift one time, and he's in the meat freezer.
Oh my God.
And it was a great, in my opinion, it was a great time to start being a fan.
Yeah, that is, and that's one of the things that draws me to wrestling. I grew up watching it with friends, really enjoyed it, but in the 90s I kind of stepped away until about a year and a half ago. I saw a show on Roku, which was showcasing WWE talent tryouts. And I started watching that. It's like, well, this is interesting. And then I turned on Raw one night and started talking to somebody at work. And next thing you know, I'm going live and I'm back in. Give me all the drama. Give me all the stupid stuff. I absolutely eat it up. Love every bit of it. So, and that's my my foot into wrestling is I'm a returning fan. What about you, Dave?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I've told you I bring this wrestler up every time we talk about wrestling. And even before we started going to CWF, I am still to this day a huge fan of a guy called Dick the Bruiser. He was my go-to guy as a kid. Now, this guy was a beast. And my mom used to get mad at me because I was just a little kid. And Dick the Bruiser was considered a bad guy. He was a heel. And I loved him because he talked like this, and he was just this big mountain of a man. And he would fight guys that looked like big mountains too, and they would just brawl. And then for a while, of course, you get out of it. And I started watching, I think it was WWE, when all like Roddy Piper and everybody was on there. God, those guys were like, yes, this is cool. But for me, whenever you got me back into the wrestling with the CWF, that took me right back to my childhood, man. I'm a little kid again watching this stuff because it's so raw, like the stuff I used to watch as a kid. You know what I mean? Like these guys they're working hard, and I'm like, oh my God, this is Dick the Bruiser would be proud of these guys. You know?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of fun. So, Donnie, what made you get into ring announcing and commentary?
So, as I said, growing up, I was a fan, and, as any fan goes, I wanted to get involved. And, you start looking in the mirror and you quickly decide, well, I'm 5'1", 130 pounds. Probably being a wrestler isn't for me. But I always enjoyed projecting my voice,
Mhm.
and I was just thinking one day, oh, well, being a ring announcer might be neat. Now, I didn't necessarily know how to get into it at the time because I mean, you just don't knock on a door and
Right.
Right.
they let you be a ring announcer. So, 2018, I was at my job. I'd saved up a little bit of money and I'd graduated college. And anyways, I found out that Dory Funk Jr.'s wrestling conservatory was taking in students. So I went down, I paid my fee, and they started me off ring announcing. And then in 2019, after I left Dory's, I made my official debut, and I just pretty much never looked back. And as for commentary, in 22, I decided that I wanted to start doing more than just ring announcing because you do the introductions and you just kind of sit there. There's nothing to
Right.
do. So I started doing that. I started in a company called Continental Championship Wrestling. I did some commentary for them. Then when CWF decided that they wanted to start adding commentary again to their stuff, I asked and they let me. They gave me the job, and I got in hold of Darion. Mm. And he decided that he wanted to come in and do some commentary as well as continue his wrestling career. And so
Oh,
it's been like
nice.
that ever since.
That's
That's
really
cool.
cool.
That's it.
That's really
Now,
cool.
now let me ask you a question. When you went to CWF, did you I'm trying to figure out, did you just walk up to Marshall Briggs and go, "Hey, I want to be an announcer. I'd like to," and then say, "Hey, I'd like to do commentary," or did he just look at you after you got the job as an announcer and go, "Hey, why don't you come over here? We need somebody, we need to start doing this." Is that
So I've been with Coast Wrestling Federation since 2019. When
uh
when I started, we were in a little conference room in Navarre, Florida.
Oh, wow.
And actually, Navarre ties back into Jaws. We'll talk about that a
Yes,
little
it
bit later.
does.
But anyways, so I was just doing the ring announcing. We had some people come in and do some commentary. But,
Mhm.
they left. But in 22, when Briggs decided that he wanted to do it again, I asked, and since I was already there, he decided to give me the opportunity. And even though me and him have had our disagreements over the years,
Yeah.
the fact that he gave me that opportunity, and for whatever reason, because I mean, the quality that we have in CWF,
Yeah. Yeah.
feels my voice matches the quality of the new product. I take great pride in that.
Nice. Nice.
So, but I mean, long
Since
story short, I just asked and he gave me the opportunity.
Yeah.
that's awesome. Speaking
That's
of
nice. That's good.
opportunities, we had the pleasure, and probably wasn't your pleasure, but we got to see Donnie Harris Jr. in the ring making his
Yeah.
in-ring debut.
Yeah.
I just want to know how that conversation came about, and how did they talk you into it? Because I can't imagine that was an easy sell.
Get in the
Yeah,
ring or you lose your job.
get in the ring or you lose your job. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Okay.
You know, very, I was very scared,
Yeah.
I would
because,
imagine.
Briggs is a
yeah,
big guy. I'd be scared too.
yes, yeah, Briggs is a very, very intimidating individual. Uh, tough brawler, has the
Yeah.
ring IQ to match.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are an announcer, when you're a commentator, that is the risk you run. That sooner or later you're going to run afoul
Yeah.
of some of the wrestlers, and you have to be prepared to take your lickings, as it were.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
dad, my stepdad didn't raise no cowards, so
Right. Right.
and got in there, took my lumps.
Gave a
It
few.
yeah, gave
You
a
gave
few,
one.
yeah,
You
gave a
gave
few.
one good lump. I know that.
Um,
Well, my
got
cat
very
just
lucky.
destroyed the universe.
That's fine.
But keep
It'll
talking.
be okay. So yeah, but it was yeah, it was scary. Very
Yeah.
scary because I've had two kidney transplants.
Oh,
Oh
gee.
man.
I'm a cancer survivor. Yeah, the long,
Oh,
long, long
Right.
medical
Right.
history. Just the
Oh,
fact that I have the help to get on and talk with you guys
yeah.
about wrestling as well as get to go to wrestling. Just to me is a blessing in and of itself.
Well, God
Absolutely.
bless
That
you
is
for that.
awesome.
My gosh, I didn't know that. I didn't. Well, then again, it's not like something that
Yeah, I mean,
you just
it's
walk up
not.
and
I
ask
mean,
somebody.
yeah, it ain't something that comes up in conversation during a regular wrestling show. But
Right,
yeah,
right, right.
What is the craziest story you can tell us from your time as working as a ring announcer and commentator? Something that
oh,
just stands out
Right.
that you'll never forget.
oh my goodness. Um, okay, a story that I can tell.
Yes, that you can tell.
That I can tell.
If
Let
not,
me
that's fine. We'll save
Okay.
it for off the air.
Totally
Okay.
understand.
So it is an announcing story. This actually I didn't happen at a wrestling venue, but in addition to my duties as the CWF commentator, I also do announcing for Florida Gateway College. It's a junior college not too far from where I live.
Uh,
And excuse me, one of my very first nights in, I get the sheet to tell people to all rise for the national anthem. Because I'm the PA announcer for the basketball team.
right.
And the line said, please rise and remove your head garments for the playing of our national anthem. Well, I'm nervous, got the jitters, and I say, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your garments for the playing of our national anthem.
The
Well
most
played.
interesting national anthem ever.
Yeah, it was a little
Another,
chilly in there.
yeah. So another time, this was in CCW, and I tell everyone to all rise for the national anthem, and I couldn't find the flag. I could not find the flag.
Oh no.
So
Oh
because
no.
my prescription
Uh,
wasn't good that day. So anyways, the crowd all rises, everyone finds the flag, and the anthem is playing, and we're all reverent as one should be during the national
Right.
anthem. And I realize everyone's looking behind me. And so I slowly turn around and there's the flag.
oh God,
No, that's funny. That,
that's awesome.
that's a scene in a movie, man.
At least they kept their clothes on, Donnie.
Yeah. Right. Oh God, that's funny.
Awesome. Dave, you have any more questions for Donnie on?
Oh, just those. Did we want to talk a little bit about last week's wrestling match or
I honestly don't remember a lot, but sure,
So
if you have any questions about it.
So a
Yeah.
new episode of to sum all that up, a new episode of Recoil will be debuting soon, and we will be going over the card in its entirety.
Oh, awesome.
great. That's
Awesome.
great.
Awesome.
I tell you,
I'm looking
I
forward
like,
to that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I said I'm just looking forward to
Oh.
seeing that. So
I like how you guys CWF does the show live. With the live stream. I think that works out really well. I think the production, just for the year that we've been doing this, off and on, we're gonna be past a year now at this point, right?
yeah, we're past a year of going to the show.
Yeah. I just watching like the incremental improvements that are going on every time we go to the show. It's phenomenal. Just watching these guys all improve and watching the storylines work out. I did guess one storyline though. It was well, actually Scott brought it up the first time, and then we started watching, and we were like, "Oh my God, this is going to happen! This is going to happen!" It was we knew you could see that Manimal was going to go bad. Just the way he was being treated by Briggs and by the other wrestlers. It was like, yeah, he's gonna break bad on somebody. I just didn't know who. I would have
Yeah.
never guessed it was going to be Johnny.
It caught me by surprise as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I will tell y'all this much: what y'all see is I'm as surprised as y'all
right.
when that
That's
stuff happens.
and that's gotta help your commentary. I would imagine if I'm commentating and I don't know what's coming, I'm going to
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
genuine reaction to it, and I would think that would enhance your commentary as well. I was going to ask you that, so you answered. You didn't know, so there you go.
I like. Well, Manimal's one of my favorite wrestlers anyway, and that ain't gonna change. Yeah, I'm gonna follow him as the bad guy. I don't care. He's freaking awesome. But whenever there was like after the fight, John Romano had won, and they're doing the hug, and I was sitting in a perfect spot. I'm kicking myself in the rear end for not having my camera ready at the time
Yeah.
because he just had that look on his face, and I look over at Scott, and Scott's looking at me, and we're like, "Oh no!"
You just knew it.
Saw
You just knew
the
it.
switch. You just saw it flip.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, this is not going to end well for Romano. And such that was unforeseen. And I was shocked. I was shocked that it was Romano that he did.
And that's what we want. That's what we want.
Yeah.
To keep people guessing. It's nice to know that we don't want our wrestling fans to become jaded.
No,
and
not for me.
Yeah.
There's enough of them out there on the internet right now. Oh my God. Yeah. These people hate wrestling, but they're supposed to be fans. So it's like,
oh, really?
Yeah.
See, this is why I stay away from like getting too deep into the history of wrestlers. And like when Ellie showed up, I did a little bit of like research on her, like because she was there a few years ago, and I was like, I think I actually saw her wrestling on one of your guys' videos. I'm like, let me go a little deeper. I'll look around. Oh, that's cool. And then who just showed up like from 5 years ago? Frat Boy?
yeah, Frat Daddy.
Frat Daddy showed up. And now I got to go find him just to look him up, And I was like,
Yeah.
holy cow, that's pretty cool. These guys are coming back.
Yeah. So Frat Daddy, of course, we're glad to have him back in CWF.
Yeah.
He's really made a name for himself in Georgia. I believe he wrestles for I think it's like Southern Honor or New South. I believe there's one of the two companies. They're very big companies up in Georgia. So you guys check them out, and you can probably find a lot of his work as well.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Those guys, they had a good match. It was
Yeah.
just him and Flo comparing hairdos was just that to me is fantastic. The
Yeah.
two guys are just talking about their hairdos, and they're like just messing with each other. It's like, okay, you guys,
I have no clue what he uses to what Flo uses.
It's
no
serious.
idea.
Like
I don't know
that.
what either one of them used for that.
Yeah.
That's like some 1980s hair gel or something.
Yeah. Back when I was in high school, that's how guys were wearing their hair, in the 80s with the punk.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
miss these.
So it's
So
always
old.
a good time. And Dave, any other questions, comments?
No, I didn't know if you wanted to talk about anything in particular.
Yeah.
Donnie,
Well,
is there
I was-
anything you want to talk?
Yeah,
Because
that's
we're
what I was
go
going to
to
ask
movies.
Donnie next. What if he
We
had
ruin
anything?
movies. We ruin movies, Donnie. If you don't feel bad, like if you're talking about a movie with us and you ruin the ending, because we
It's gonna
always
get
ruin
spoiled.
the endings of every movie that we talk about.
Hey, that's fine, man. I mean, I'm excited. We're talking about Jaws today, as a matter of fact.
Jaws, yes.
Yes.
The iconic 1975, is it?
Yes, I believe it was 75 or 76.
One of
It
those,
was-
yes.
Yeah, 1975.
Yeah. And I'm checking my notes here.
Cool.
Let me see here. Yeah, so it's considered to have started checking my notes here on my phone, so please don't think I'm rude here.
No,
go
my
for
notes-
it.
So it is the movie that basically started the summer blockbuster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I watched it this past week for the first time in, oh God, probably 20 years.
Right.
And this movie holds up so well. Folks, if you don't know about Jaws, just stop, shut this off, go watch one of the greatest movies ever made that Steven Spielberg is still probably shocked that it came out so damn good with all the problems that they had, which were actually blessings.
Monumental problems that they had.
That
This
turned
movie
out to be a
should've-
good thing.
Yeah, this movie should have tanked. I mean, with the way everyone's attitude, like, oh my God, the shark's never gonna work. That shark works even to this day. I was looking at it not last night, but a couple of nights ago when I was rewatching it. I was
Yeah.
like, man, I understand why they thought it was gonna do that, why it wasn't working.
Mhm.
But when you see it and you see it in the edit, you're like, your editor was fantastic. Your
Yeah,
editors save so much.
Yeah, the editing, is amazing, and and so much of it, you're scared because you don't see the shark
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
much. You hear the theme, you see people moving about in the water. Matter of fact, the first victim,
Hmm.
check my notes here again. So, the first victim, the lady, she's going skinny dipping and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
that. I believe it was like they had one rope tied to this arm and like one rope
Yeah.
tied to this arm, and they're kind of tucking her back and forth.
Yeah.
Oh,
God bless
because that's
that
violent in the
actress.
water. She is just
Yeah.
like thrashing. Is like that is such a brutal kill on screen. And this is the 70s. This movie amps up the tension, like you said, with the iconic music. It doesn't. It just the pacing is good. This is one of
Yeah.
I'm all over the place, and forgive me, folks, but this is one of those movies I would almost say is a perfect movie. So I can't find much
Yeah.
wrong with it. So the way it's paced, the thrills, but anyhow, as Donnie was saying, this poor woman tied with ropes and being jerked back and forth in the water. It's like, oh my God, she probably wish she would have been eaten by a shark by the time that was done.
Yeah, right. I think,
Yes.
didn't they have divers in the water at the time too, to make sure if anything happened to her, they could be like right there?
I'd hope.
You
Maybe.
think?
I'm not sure on that. Like, I know, like, because obviously Jaws was based on a book by Peter Benchley, and
Right.
I've read the book as well. It's one of the books I read as a kid. I read several of his books. Jaws is probably the best, but there's several others that are very good. But one thing I like about the movie, if you read the book, like the characters are not good people.
No.
I mean, like the shark, the Hooper, I think is his name,
Yeah.
the guy that studies the sharks. So, like in the book, like he's this blonde-haired jerk.
Yeah.
That within the first chapter that him and the sheriff meet, the sheriff wants to beat him up.
Oh, damn.
And the sheriff, for his part, isn't the nicest person because you get internal monologues of
Yeah.
his thoughts on people. Nobody is nice in the book. And so what I really like about the movie is that they're characters, they're a little flawed, but you're rooting for these guys. Like
Right. Right.
they're likable characters, and you've got to have a likable protagonist, especially when they're going up against a creature as formidable as a 20-foot great white shark.
Man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
never read the book, but
I'm going to now after
when
Donnie's
Dreyfus-
recommendation.
yeah, when Dreyfus shows up, I think this is, don't know if this is his first, I think his first big movie,
It's
right?
one of his first because he's very, very young in it.
He was in The Graduate, was his very first showing, and then I know he got this part by just bothering Steven Spielberg so much to get the part, and then he
Yeah.
finally calls him and says, "Yeah, you got it. You can come in."
I think it was
got
like
you.
he had a really bad movie prior, and
Okay,
so
okay.
like he wanted to have a really good movie.
Couldn't make
Well, he
sense.
got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, he was really good in this role. I had think maybe saw part of this as a kid at the drive-in. This is how old I am, Donnie. I used to go to the drive-in with my parents, and
Oh
then
my
I used
goodness.
to go to the drive-in as a teenager
Oh,
when they
wow.
were still big. So if you ever get a chance to find a drive-in, I don't even know if there's any left around
There's a
here.
couple.
Yeah, is
No,
there?
I don't know about around here, but I know there's a few left in the
I
U.S.
highly recommend going to see a movie at a drive-in because there's nothing like it. But I saw like part of this as a kid, and I remember just passing out, so I'd never seen it until a few years ago.
Really?
My wife and I watched it. I was like, yeah, I've never seen this whole thing. I seen big chunks of it. I seen
Oh my God.
important parts with the girl in the water. So a few years ago, we sat down and watched it. Then I bought the DVD. I was like, okay, that's a buyer. I'm in whole hog. And you watch these guys act. I mean, you got Dreyfus and of course you got Scheider, who's in all sorts of stuff back in the 80s. And then Robert Shaw,
Yeah.
captain of the boat.
What a
Man.
great character. What a great character with his story of the USS Indianapolis.
Oh,
Is
Yes.
it's just harrowing. And that whole monologue, man, you're gripped on the edge of your seat
Shivers
just
up and
listening
down
to
your
it.
spine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, I think it was Star Trek Strange New Worlds. They had a captain that they named Shaw based on this actor,
really?
and they gave him a USS Indianapolis storyline to kind of mirror the exact same thing. It was beautiful the way they did it. It's like, oh my God, look at the callback to Jaws.
Oh, great.
So, great. But just a little weird segue, but all the acting in it. But yeah, when he's talking about being in those shark infested waters for like a week, it was horrifying.
And it's done so simply. I mean, it's just a few camera edits. I think there might be some light music in it, but it's just his voice. And what I like is how it transitions, because during the first part, him and Hooper are doing, male bonding. I got the scar.
Scars,
scar. Yeah.
And it's all jovial and all that, and then it gets serious. And he talks about the Indianapolis, and you see Hooper, his jovial face just kind of goes away real quick, because he knows. Mm-hmm. We don't know, but we know that he knows a lot. And if he's scared, that sells
exactly
to the audience that, okay, what the captain's going to say is very serious, which it winds up being very serious.
And then 2 seconds later.
And what I like about it, when you really get the first good look at the shark, is it's out of nowhere, because I think forgive me, because it's been a little while since I've seen the movie, but you have the sheriff and he's throwing the chum out, and then boom, there it is.
Yeah.
And
and he backs. The way Scheider does that is great, because he starts backing up. And then he backs all the way into the cabin, and he looks over at Shaw. He's like, "We're gonna need I think you're gonna need a bigger boat." And he keeps talking about a bigger boat.
A bigger boat.
Are we gonna call the shore and get a bigger boat? We need a bigger boat.
Well, I mean, he kind of was right.
Yeah, he was right. He was right. But
the shark gets tired of their crap.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that is a great scene. I mean, this movie is filled with great scenes and quotable moments. And that scene, I love how Godzilla -1 kind of replicates it a little bit.
Oh,
with
definitely.
The poor fisherman on the boat, and Godzilla's right behind him with this big head, and it's like gave me that whole Jaws vibe watching that movie. But because that just shows how iconic that was. It's just damn.
Yeah, that's a good scene. And like you said,
I mean, you just think of the psychology of it, because I've often said that the scariest movie ever made was Jaws. I mean, okay, we've got the boogeyman, we've got haunted houses and all that, but you don't have to go into the haunted house. You don't have to pick up that cursed item.
Yes.
You can possibly outrun the slasher, but there is nothing scarier than being in a deep blue abyss and something big coming towards you. You have no defense whatsoever.
Yeah. You're out of your element.
Yeah. I think there's even a term for it. Thalassophobia, if I'm correct. Put that in the Google machine and see the videos that'll pop up.
Oh man. Now that's what's horrifying. And I saw this movie as a kid, and to this day, I don't know if it's why, but I do not like being in the ocean at all. Not very deep. I just nope, not going. Forget it. I've scuba dived, and that was really scary and amazing. But it is when you were out there and you can't see. I mean, just the dark blue and just all kinds of creatures. It's downright scary in there.
I can imagine. I've been on the ocean and cruises and whatnot.
Right.
My family liked going to the river a lot, and the Swanee River out here, to be specific. And,
that's a nice river. I like
my family would camp at a little place called Hot Springs. But you'd be on the river, and they'd want you to tube or hydroslide, and you're sitting there in the water, and you're in fresh water, but in the back of your mind, excuse me, and then you learn about bull sharks, which can't swim into fresh water.
Yep. You're never safe. You're never safe, and that's the beauty with shark movies. They have, my God, this launched a franchise of ridiculousness, and just it's a common genre. You have your shark movies,
Right.
and they're in other places. There's like Bathtub Shark, I think, is a movie. There's
Oh my
sharks that come out of the
gosh.
toilet. There's Shark Exorcist. There's oh my God, there's
Sharknado.
Sharknado,
Sharknado
Sharktopus, two-headed, three-headed, and four-headed Shark Attack, or five-headed. I'm not sure which one that came after three, but
Right.
yeah,
That's funny.
it just launched fun movies. Its own genre. You have your Shark Attack movies, and that I love. But Jaws, man, it definitely started something. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, Jaws. It had in total, I think it was 4 movies. Of course, you have Jaws 2,
Right.
which the sheriff comes back, and we alluded to it earlier. And some of the exterior shots of the beach of Jaws 2 was shot on Navarre Beach here in Florida,
Right.
instead of the New England. I believe it was in the New England
It's
town where
supposed to
they,
be New England, I believe.
yeah, they shot the rest of the movie. So I thought that was a cool tie-in. And I know it has the best tagline, just when you thought it was safe to go back into the water.
Yeah.
Then, you have Jaws 3D, which, I mean, that it's a movie.
Yeah,
It's
it suffered
a movie.
from everything that 3D movies suffered from.
Yeah.
It was a gimmick. It was a poorly done gimmick, and everybody had to get in on it. And it's done better now, but it's still too much of a gimmick.
And
Yeah,
At
I
least for
mean,
me.
then you got
Well, of
Michael
course,
J.
when-
Fox and Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah, and it's like Jaws 19 or
And the
something
big
like that.
Jaws comes out.
Yeah.
Jaws 42 or something.
They have billboards that
great.
give that illusion now in Japan. If you look at some of the Japanese billboards, it looks like the real shit in there. It's wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and then they have Jaws the Revenge. Now, Jaws the Revenge retcons Jaws 3D. It pretends like 3D never happened.
Oh,
And Jaws the Revenge, Jaws 4, apparently a pup of the shark wants revenge because sharks have the concept of revenge.
Genetic trauma. Wow.
Yeah.
Generational trauma. Interesting.
What's funny about it is there was a novel tie-in to Jaws the Revenge. And
Really?
in it, yes. And in the novel, that's a tie-in to Jaws the Revenge. Now, it was not written by Peter Benchley, but in it, it's like there's a voodoo priest who's angry at the family, and through his magic voodoo, he conjures up the shark to chase them down, which, as silly as it sounds, makes way more sense than just a shark arbitrarily having thoughts of revenge out of the blue.
oh my
Although,
God. No, see, I want to read that book.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find a copy. Although, I mean, if you do want smart sharks, Deep Blue Sea, which came out in
I
1999.
love Deep Blue Sea. Love
Yes.
that movie.
I remember seeing that as a kid, and what I love about it is like they kill off the main character. Like she has a plan and she goes to it, and it just backfires, and it's not even like a heroic sacrifice. I mean, no,
No.
down and it's over. And you think it's all over. And then the cook, who you thought was dead, boom, climbing up. He's ready for his comeback. He's got the gun in hand.
Because the shark tried to eat his bird. LL Cool J. I love Deep Blue Sea. That is such a fun movie.
Yes.
Damn. Well done, too.
Yes. And then a few years ago, you had The Meg come out with Jason Statham. Now, The Meg is also based on a series by, I believe the guy's name is Steve Alton. And I've read a lot of the series, and the books are very serious and all that. And it's just basically about a guy who goes into the deep ocean, and he saw a meg, and, he pulled out, and everyone thinks he's crazy because he pulled his submersible out. And he starts another career researching megalodons, and he goes back down to basically prove that he wasn't cuckoo. Then the Meg comes out, and then it has puppies. The puppies have puppies. There's a pair of twins that are psychically linked together. I mean, it goes way off the deep end, but it's told in a very serious tone. But the movies are just good popcorn fun. The Meg too.
I need to watch those. I have not seen those. They look fun. They look fun.
And
for sure.
just to highlight
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just how I'm talking about, I told you guys about it, my
Oh my
There it
God,
Megalodon.
is.
we did
Look
freaking
at that.
figures.
Look
I
at the
mean,
size of that.
yeah, this is very this is near and dear to my heart. I had wanted one of these for years, and I found it in a shop actually up in the mountains, and
Wow.
haggled on the price a little bit, cheap, but I have it now, and it's kind of the center point of my whole room.
That is really cool. That
Yeah,
thing is
can't really
massive.
yeah, you can't really see it, but you've got the serrated edges here, and I don't even think like this is as big of the tooth as they can get. But I mean, you just imagine the monstrosity that was attached to
Yeah,
this.
right?
Well, yeah,
Uh,
when you walk the beach, you can usually sometimes find shark teeth, and they're very small compared to that's the size of a hand right there.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty much.
dude.
Yeah.
Have that go into your leg or you're into
Well, it'll be over quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's any, if there's any consolation, I doubt a full-grown Meg would waste the energy to chew on something as small as us. I don't.
Right.
From what
Right.
little I know, it's kind of funny. We just talked about tie-ins. They named the shark Bruce, or the sharks Bruce,
Yes.
the mechanical sharks. And in Finding Nemo, a movie I saw when I was a kid, you have a shark named Bruce.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
he's an AA for shark or for fish eaters. Like their thing is they're
Yes,
not
yes.
gonna eat.
Yeah. I'm really nice, actually.
Oh, that's funny.
It's just messed up.
Sure.
That's funny. Yeah, sharks have become an iconic bit of at least American culture and probably
Yeah.
worldwide. I mean, here on TV we have Shark Week, where every year Discovery,
Yeah.
History just pump full of shark shows because they're fascinating creatures. They just nobody knows exactly how long these suckers live, and
No.
and they're basically unchanged.
Yeah, they look
And they're killing machines.
the
They
same
are.
stuff that they find now is what they look like then,
Yeah.
you know,
The,
30
yeah, the
million
goal with
years
the
ago or whatever.
Yeah, the great white is essentially a shrunken. I mean, I'm sure a shark biologist would correct me a little on this, but basically, from what I understand, the great white shark is just kind of a shrunken down version of the megalodon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And they're still discovering new things. Matter of fact, I want to say maybe 1 or 2 years after Jaws came out, scientists found the megamouth shark,
Yeah.
which, like, I mean, and it's perfectly harmless to humans, but you wouldn't know that if you looked at it in the ocean for the first time,
Yeah.
because it's got this giant maw of a mouth that
Yeah.
I believe it sucks in plankton and all that. Not too much different
Oh
than
wow.
Right. Right.
which is a gentle giant in and of itself.
Jeez. Well, real quick, talking about the kills. The little boy who's out on the raft, wants to go back out to the raft. And his mom's like, "Oh, okay, but take it easy, make sure you put suntan oil or whatever on." That kid's mom, I guess a few years ago, was in a restaurant and she's looking at the menu, and the actress is like, she sees the name of a sandwich, and the name of the sandwich
no.
is whatever the little boy's character's name was, and it was some kind of fish sandwich. And she's
Oh,
laughing,
Lord.
and she tells the waiter, she's like, "Yeah, I was this character's mom." And the waiter starts laughing really hard. He goes, "I'll be right back. I got something special for you." He goes back in the kitchen. He goes in the back room. He gets the owner of the restaurant, brings the owner out. The owner of the restaurant was the little boy actor who got killed in
Wow.
Jaws.
Wow,
And
you want to talk
they
about
were
a
like,
small
they had like a
world.
little reunion right there.
That's awesome.
Now, I don't know how true that is, but I've read that in several different places that happened. So I choose to believe it. Choose to believe that happened.
That would be awesome.
So I mean, talking about Jaws, of course, as is always the case, because you guys may remember, because I'm a '90s child, not a '70s, but like, wasn't there like immediately after Jaws, wasn't there like a lot of knockoffs, for lack of a better term, to kind of get in on the
Yeah,
craze?
you had Piranha.
Yeah.
You had, there was a couple
Alligator.
of like, piranha type movies, alligator, like any beast that was known to try and kill somebody or eat a human, or maybe looked at a human with a side eye one time. They
And we
made
did
a
what?
movie about it, you know?
Grizzly.
Yeah,
Oh my
like
Lord.
every fuzzy cute animal that wasn't. What was the rabbit movie that we did?
Night of the
That
Lepus.
Night of the
that
Lepus,
happened
yes.
around the same time period. Night of the
Hmm.
Lepus. It's
Yeah.
like it was a bunny. You guys had a guy in a bunny costume
It's like
eating
bunnies aren't
people.
scary, even if they're. I mean, if they're gigantic, you just want to hug them. I know, like a good rip off, for lack of a better term, that comes to mind. One I saw that was it came out a year or two after Jaws was called Orca,
Yes.
starring
I've heard
Richard
of it.
Harris.
Mhm.
And I remember, like, I was flipping through the channels with my dad, and they're at the scene where the orca, for those that may not have seen the movie, the orca, unlike the shark, is a sentient being, at least within
Uh,
the context of the movie. And Richard Harris is a whaler. He kills the orca's mate,
mhm.
and the orca's mate has a miscarriage on the boat, and the dude's sitting there with a water hose spraying the baby off of the boat. So this
Oh,
orca is mad at this guy, and he's
okay.
tearing up the town. And I remember, like, he jumps out of the water and he bites off Bo Derek's leg.
Oh,
That she was the girlfriend of Richard Harris in the movie, and
yeah.
scene I come in on as a kid, and I'm like, oh my Lord. And I finally watched it years later, and it pretty much just kind of follows the beats of Moby Dick.
Yeah.
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 But actually, even though it's a quote unquote ripoff, I think it stands on its own merit as a good movie.
Mhm.
Just only because to me, I think an orca is a bit more scarier because a shark, it's an animal. It's just doing what nature told it to do.
Mhm.
Orca, I mean, like I said, that is a thinking animal. It's
Yeah.
sentient. You can't tell me otherwise. I mean,
Right.
this is all based on fiction, but like watch like real videos on orcas
Oh
and
yeah,
killers.
they can
And
hold a grudge.
yeah, they hold a grudge. Yeah, they yeah. So,
Yeah.
and what's scary about them is they swim in groups.
Hmm.
So, don't be scared of the one you see. Be scared of the three you don't see.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you were saying earlier, you couldn't find the flag and then you turn around, there it is.
Mhm.
Yep.
Can't find the other three. You turn around, there they are. And you're 30 feet in water.
Yeah. But that's all inspired by Jaws,
Yeah.
which,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
Oh my
was
God, it's
just
amazing.
all, yeah. And that was just off a book that the guy wrote, just on a day. I would say it was on a dare. Like he was really needed the money,
Yeah.
and his editor really liked the idea of a shark book,
Mhm.
and that's where he won it, and he made millions of dollars. Now, I would encourage people to remember that this movie that we're talking about, it has some scientific facts, but it's still fiction. If you want to
Yeah.
actually learn about sharks, watch Shark Week, watch
Yeah.
videos on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
remember that this is still fiction and it's exaggerated for the sake of telling a good story.
Did either one of you know that Benchley makes an appearance in the movie?
No.
No, I did not know that.
He's the reporter on the beach that's
Really?
walking around talking.
Oh,
He goes
okay.
up and talks to the
I'll
mayor.
be damned.
That's
Oh, dang.
Peter Benchley, I think is his first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Well,
him.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
And I think he got paid good money to do that scene too.
Yeah,
Now you got to pay good money all around.
Yeah, right.
yeah, I think he got like a $70,000 deal in 1970s money. I don't know what that equates to now.
A
But, I
lot.
mean, yeah, he wrote a lot of other good
Yeah.
books. He wrote The Beast, which is about a giant squid. That's
Remember
and they're
that.
trying to hunt.
That one sounds
That
interesting.
sounds familiar. That
Yeah,
sounds familiar.
He wrote one called White Shark, which is about a human shark hybrid that's swimming around killing people.
Oh my God, I got to see that one. I didn't
yeah,
even know about that one.
Both those movies were made into made for TV movies in the
Oh.
90s. So you can find them.
We're gonna have to look those up, Dave.
Oh yeah.
So neat little thing. Everyone knows that in Jaws: The Revenge, Michael Caine starred in the movie.
Right.
And the joke is like he hasn't seen the movie, he thinks it's awful, but he's seen the house that it paid for. And
Yes.
it's
Right.
okay. So Michael Caine, he starred in that movie, Jaws: The Revenge, but Michael Caine also starred in a movie called The Island, which Peter Benchley also wrote. I
Oh.
believe
Oh, no kidding.
I believe it came out in 1979, and it's about basically a cult of pirate people that live on this uncharted island in the 1970s, and they go out and they kill people and they take their loot, and they've been doing this ever since
Wow.
since like Pirates of the Caribbean time. But
Jeez.
every so often they've got to, for lack of a better term, replenish their bloodlines, and so
Right.
they kidnap him and his son, and their son they're going to raise, and they're just keeping him around to basically be a stud, get what they need from him, and then
Right.
it's a very
Man.
good book. And I haven't seen the movie in itself, but I mean, it's got Michael Caine. It can't be that bad.
Right.
Famous last words. As David, I can tell you of the multitudes of movies we've watched lately.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Never say it can't be that bad.
It can't be that bad. Oh, yeah, it was that bad. I was gonna say something. I forgot what it was. That's okay. That's half of my life is forgetting what I was just doing.
Check my notes here real quick on that.
Yeah, see if you have anything else to add on what I consider one of the all-time great movies. It's definitely in my top list.
1980.
music,
Yeah, The Island came
editing.
out in 1980. Excuse me.
1980. Okay,
80. Okay. All right.
definitely.
Yeah, the music in this just adds to the tension. The
Yes.
It does.
editing.
I mean,
And I'm looking at this and I'm like, man, that had to be, I'm going to look it up. That had to be, what's his name's wife doing this?
I think it was wasn't it Williams, the same guy that did Star Wars? I'm not really sure, because I mean you talk about music setting the scene. If you
Yeah.
want to tie it back into
He's
pro
John
wrestling,
Williams.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
that's his theme song.
yeah, Yeah.
Um,
definitely. Yeah, because we know it's perfect when
And,
we
well,
heard
that's
that.
what's funny is whenever Lucas was going to do Star Wars, he was like, I need somebody to do this. And Spielberg, I guess, introduced those two guys. It was like, hey, yeah, this guy's great. Use him.
Yeah.
He's like, oh,
Yeah,
he'll
because-
never want to work for me or work with me, whatever. They hit it off as soon as they met.
because didn't Star Wars, we talk about how Jaws was the very first blockbuster. So
Right.
didn't Star Wars would come out 1 or 2 years later, also in the summer,
Yeah.
and be following that legacy of summer blockbusters.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
joke is that Spielberg, it's just like a running gag between Spielberg and Lucas. He got mad at Lucas for out moneying him, out earning his movie. He's like, well, I guess I'm out of the top notch now. But
And I
I
think-
don't see who the editor was. I thought it was Marsha Lucas, but I'm not sure. And I
Yeah,
don't see in here where it is.
Big props to whoever edited it, because
Yeah.
the shark's not work, because the shark was supposed to be in it a lot more.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it was, they got real creative, like the underwater camera shots where you get the POV of the shark. Excuse me, less is more.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Really was really helped sell the fear of that, because it's there but you don't see it, and
Yeah.
then your mind starts playing, starts filling in the gaps, and
Yeah, exactly.
then when you finally see it,
Yeah.
Well, it's like Alien. You don't see much of that alien until the
Well,
very end.
And that's probably, I guarantee you, because of Jaws, people realize we can pull back. We don't
Yeah.
have to show everything. The unseen already causes dread. Add some music, you amp up the tension there, and just a little glimpse. There's a fin. There's a shadow.
Hitchcock was really good at less is more, like Donnie
Yeah.
said.
It's
You
just-
watch a Hitchcock movie, the scariest thing about a Hitchcock movie is waiting.
Yeah.
yes,
It's
it
building all that
is.
tension.
Any good horror movie, and like I said, I consider Jaws, at least the first one, truly a horror movie. in the classic sense. I mean, what's good
Yeah,
about it
yeah.
is like you can. It's a horror movie, but it's one you can take the kids to see or let the kids watch versus some of the other horror films that are much more adult in nature. And who doesn't like a good just like man versus nature
Yeah,
essentially.
it's a good show. It surprised me the level of gore. I wasn't prepared. I guess I didn't think it would be that gory as what they showed, and it was just enough. But it was like, damn, they really pushed it right there in 75.
Yeah, PG ratings back then.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, like that would be, I would imagine it'd be a hard R now. Like,
Yes.
I think back to some of the PG movies from when I was a kid, or even some of the G movies. I mean, like an animated film called Secret of the Nim.
Oh, I love Secret of Nim. Don Bluth.
Yeah. Don Bluth, who worked for Disney, but it's a scary movie.
It is. It's an intense movie. Yeah, it's. As a kid, I saw that in the theater. Just gonna date myself here, age. But yeah, that's one of my favorite animations is The Secret of Nim. But as a kid, it scared me. It's like, holy shit, that's intense, man.
Donnie, now you know why Gen X is so tough. Those were our PG movies. They also used to show nudity in PG movies.
Yeah.
I mean, Airplane is a prime example of that. Not a lot of it.
Airplane is rated PG?
Yeah.
What?
Yes, Airplane's rated PG.
Yeah, Airplane is rated PG.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that film.
Of course, who doesn't?
Which, to tie it back to what we were talking about, I believe it's in Airplane 1 or Airplane 2. During the opening credits, you see the bin of the plane.
Yes.
Going through the clouds while Dun-Up starts playing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
If you ever get a chance to watch it, this is completely off what we're talking about, Jaws, but they did a series called Police Squad.
Oh, yes. I'm familiar with it.
It's like one season. It's maybe 12 or 14 episodes or something. If you ever can find it, if you can find it on DVD, I highly recommend it. It was stuff that I grew up on as a kid, and it is just as funny as anything in Airplane.
Oh, it's wonderful. I just bought, a while back, I ran across a DVD set of all the Naked Gun movies and Police Squad, the entire season.
Oh yeah,
episodes there. So it's the whole Frank Drebin saga, which is awesome.
Yeah, and there's a sequel. There's a new Naked Gun.
Yes, a new one.
And,
which
they got what's his name?
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, they got Liam Neeson to do it, and I mean, it from the few clips that I saw, I was like, okay, yeah, this will be good. This will be a what. Yeah, this will be a good watch.
It does. And it's like, I have to remind myself, it's like Leslie Nielsen was not considered a comedic actor when he was cast in Airplane. So them going with Liam Neeson is perfect.
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen was a serious actor. When I was a kid growing up, he usually played a bad guy. And then when he was a good guy, it was always surprising. Like in Forbidden Planet, he plays the
Forbidden Planet. What a wonderful movie.
Oh, wow. Now, that surprises me because, I mean, when I was growing, I'm growing up in the 90s. So when I see Leslie Neeson, I see him on the, all these 80 movies that, I'm renting on VHS or Dracula Dead and Living It.
Yeah.
Or he even appeared in some of the, in Scary Movie 2, 3, and 4, I believe. So to my generation, he's the old man that plays in the funny movies.
Right.
Plus all the Naked Gun. Plus all the Naked Money movies. But, we're talking about comedies and tying it back into Jaws. Richard Dreyfuss would years later be in a comedy called What About Bob with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And it is hilarious because he's this real hoity-toity, stick up his rear end kind of psychologist. And Bill Murray is this guy that needs help. And he just kind of passes it off. Yeah, sure, nobody, I'll help you out. And Bill Murray tracks him down to his holiday retreat where he's spending with his family. And his family he treats more like experiment subjects than actual family members. Yeah. Bob comes in and Bob's actually being like an actual dad to him, and Bob is just driving this guy crazy, and you see the slow decline of this very, Dreyfuss just plays like, he's very well refined and all that, very well read, and he just goes into crazy by the end of it, and it's amazing transition. But you can't really blame him because Bob's a nice guy, but he's doing stuff that would make anybody
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good movie. I forgot about What About Bob, believe it or not. I don't have anything else to talk about. Jaws was such a good movie.
It is.
Everything is so well done. The screenplay's freaking fantastic. The directing, I mean, you had Spielberg. I think this is only his second movie.
I believe.
Right? I think this is only his second movie. And
it could be. I don't know what his first movie was.
It was a failure.
Duel, yes. Yes. Because he considered Jaws to be a spiritual sequel to Duel.
Oh, did he?
Yes, well, because it's about this big, giant, unstoppable force stalking people. And for those who may haven't seen it, Duel is about this traveling salesman, and he's being stalked by this giant, scary-looking semi truck.
What a good movie! That have you ever seen that, Scott?
I have not seen it. I have not seen Duel. I need to watch Duel.
It's good. It's basically a road chase through the whole movie, and you never see the evil. You just see the truck.
I definitely want to check it out. So that makes sense that it'd be the Jaws tie-in, the spiritual successor. Makes sense.
Absolute sense. I never thought of that before, Donnie. That you could have that as the tie-in, but the evil actually works. The only thing was missing was as the truck's coming down the road.
Yes, although the honk honk certainly works. And I mean, if you like that, there's a series that came out a few years back. I remember watching when I was a kid I believe it's called Joyride, which is about a crazy truck driver stalking people because quote unquote did him wrong. But yeah, I love the car movies, for a better term, of the 70s. A big fan, Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh yes, yeah.
I hope you guys cover that one day because
we already have.
We did that.
Oh, okay.
It's on there.
My dad, who was a big fan of that, he quotes that line from Gleason all the time. There ain't no way. There ain't no way you from me.
From my loins.
Oh my God. When I get home, I'm gonna punch your mama right in the mouth. He faked a lot of those. Like a lot of that stuff that Gleason did wasn't in the script, I found out.
No, he ad-libbed all of them. And let's give credit. Let's give credit to the son, Junior, because before that he was a Tarzan. He's around. I mean, he's swinging around fighting alligators or crocodiles, and then talk about range. Now he's just the dumb son of.
I did remember hearing about that one time before. Oh my God, that's funny. I forgot.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, and he's like saying, "Daddy, I ain't never moving out." He's like, "Don't you ever threaten your daddy like that,
such a good movie.
Yeah. And it he makes the movie of course, Bandit and Snowman are there, and they're both cool in their own way, but it's
you had to have Gleason.
Yes, the bad guy, as in pro wrestling, it's the bad guy that sells the tickets. Case in point with Jaws.
Yeah.
The bad guy, because people want to see a monster conquered and a bad guy get knocked down. Same principle rides in pro wrestling.
There you go. Thank you for tying it right back to wrestling, because yes, it does. And I didn't realize that till you started talking. It's like, oh my God, this movie.
Well done. We need you on here more often.
Yeah, I mean, to tie it right back.
Yeah, I would. I'd be. I know you guys have other guests coming up, but I certainly would like to come on. I would love to talk about one of my favorite movies.
What's that?
Old ass movies. Legend, 1985.
Yes, we will definitely have to put that in the queue. And
we haven't done Legend yet.
We have not done Legend. No, we haven't.
Yeah, I mean, I won't get into too much of it, but Legend is it would come out roughly 10 years right after Jaws. And I want to say Spielberg had some involvement with it, along with the Henson Company.
Oh
Anybody
yeah,
who's watching this, please seek it out and watch it for yourselves. There's
that's a
several
good one.
yeah, there's several different cuts. I recommend the European cut just because it has more scenes that tells a better
Okay,
story
okay.
overall. But
Nice.
maybe we could elaborate on it sometime, like in down the months when if I can come back on again.
Oh
We will
yeah.
definitely, we'll just consider that one done. When we do Legend, Donnie
Oh
Harris
yeah.
Jr. will rejoin us for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Gotta have you here.
before we go too far off the rails,
Too
do you
late.
have anybody have anything else to add before we get to our final take on the movie?
Well, do not forget our CWF Recoil. I'll be checking our Facebook feed. Another episode is coming out. Our next live show will be July 19th in Crestview, Florida. I'm not sure if tickets are on sale now, but they will be soon. Excuse me. If people are wanting to see all the action from our last event, check our Facebook page. The live feed is still on there. If you want to see some of our older stuff, go to YouTube and
Mhm.
click on the live section. You can see some of our older shows, such as Panther Brawl, which we will be having another Panther Brawl coming up. I say that because I want to say that was the first one you guys saw of ours. Or I want
No,
to say that was,
I think we had seen a couple other ones before
Yeah,
okay.
Panther Brawl.
I've been
Panther
coming a
Brawl
while,
was the
but
one that just I was
Pan,
stunned at how
yeah,
many people showed up to it.
that
And I
was
was
a
like,
fun
this is
one.
a perfect venue.
If we could get the high school kids at the show every month, oh my God,
Yeah.
it was great.
Yeah, yeah. But I would say that those are my plugs for this for this edition.
Awesome. So
Well
Donnie,
done.
while I have you on there, go ahead and just tell me your final take on Jaws. Tell me why
Yeah.
you love it so much or hate
Um,
it.
I love the movie. Obviously, it I think really taps into a primal fear that man has probably had in our genes since untold, and that's not to go into the water. For good reason. It set the template for, as you talked about, the genre of movies, shark movies.
Yeah.
And it did so much with, I mean, obviously it had a big budget for the time, but it did so much with so little, show not tell.
Mhm.
There's just so many good things you can take away from it. I highly recommend reading the book as well as a lot of the other books by Peter Benchley. Jaws 2, another good movie. 3 and 4, I guess if you're a completist,
Yeah.
check those out as well. And if nothing else, we didn't cover this. It's the movie that made you scared to get into the swimming pool.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't want
Or
to
the
go into a wading
bathtub
pool.
or the toilet.
or anything. Or anything where the water wasn't up your knees. So obviously, all in all, it was a great movie. I really enjoyed watching it as a kid, and I've enjoyed coming here and talking about it with you guys.
Awesome.
That's great.
Dave.
Well, here's a little something. When the year this movie came out, I and one of my brothers was on a road trip with my aunt and my mom going down to Florida. All along the coast of Florida, we were listening to a song. It was some kind of made up funky song. I think it was a local DJ, and it was Mr. Jaws. They played it constantly. I can't even remember the words to it, but if I heard it now, I'd be like, "Oh my God, that song!"
Yes.
And that movie was playing all up and down the coast, and because we went down one side and up the other of Florida, and being at the beach, knowing about this movie, what it was about, I never went into the water.
Can't blame you.
And I think this movie, well written, edited, the acting in it is superb. I mean, you got Robert Shaw in there. He's nuts. He plays a good nut job in
doesn't
this
he?
movie. But then when he tells the story, you're like, oh, that's why you're crazy. I mean, well founded, buddy. You deserve to be the way you are. But that movie, I wish I would have seen it sooner. Let me put it that way. It's one of the few movies that I've said that about, like, wow, I wish this was in my life longer than it has been, because
Yeah.
it's such a good movie. The acting, the editing, the writing, the visuals, like, or the lack of visuals at times, is just superb. Scott?
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I grew up with this movie. We even had the little game, which was a plastic Jaws that his mouth was hinged with rubber bands.
Forgot.
And it had all kinds of junk, car parts and stuff, and you had to fish it out. And if you took the last one, it would just snap down on you and scare you. And as a kid, it was a great little thing. But yeah, but Jaws everywhere. They even had little I forget what there was. I mean, Jaws was everywhere. So the merchandising it came off of it was
T-shirts were everybody
awesome.
had a Jaws T-shirt that summer.
Was awesome. And my favorite. Probably one of my most memorable scenes in the movie, and it's a small part, but it's just when Shaw, I can't remember the character's name, was talking about Quint was his name, was talking about the black eyes, the dead eyes of the shark, and just that brief moment of how just the lifelessness in it, just like the killing machine, and just. That one just gets me every time. But this is one of those perfect movies in my book. This is one of those that just hits everything. And I love shark movies. I'm actually in a shark movie, 3-headed shark attack. Look for the dead scientist on the ground with his eyeball hanging out. That's me. Not a big part, but there I was. And coming up, Heart of Sharkness, about vampire sharks, starting filming next month. I will be in it, another dead body. So anyway, I love Jaws. I highly recommend it. I'd like to take a moment to thank you, Donnie Harris Jr., for coming on our show again. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your love of shark movies. And that was just really great. And we love seeing you at wrestling and your wild outfits. Just your sense of style is off the chain. So,
thank you guys. Thank you.
It's wonderful. So I appreciate you coming on. So, folks, if you like our show and like hearing about odd things, random things with movies and wrestling and whatever old guys want to rant about and ramble about, hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, and check us out on YouTube or anywhere you listen to podcasts. You should be able to find us. OAMR, Old Ass Movie Reviews. And thanks again. Catch you next week.